Hi, everybody. So today I'm going to be talking about how to give good instructions to a virtual assistant. I think one of my very, very first hires was incredibly smart to the point where I really did think she could do things with no instructions. And I was very wrong. And it wasn't because of her intelligence. It was because of my lack of understanding about how important this was, which I now do understand. So having said that, I'm now going to talk about how you give good instructions. Now, there's different platforms you can use for this. I'm going to mention Zoom. I use that quite a lot. The reason that I like Zoom is because you can jump on a video call, you can screen share with them, they can screen share with you, and you can record. All functionalities that I appreciate, but other platforms will work as well. So the first thing is I would show the VA, I show you, I call it. I would show the VA how I like things to be done. So this is how I like to do my research. This is how I like to research / create / repurpose social media content. This is how I like to book my travel. And I know with things like that, that's the kind of thing people are like, well, only I can book my travel because only I know how to do it. That's not true. You have preferences, maybe around budget or, that could be low budget, it could be luxury budget. You have preferences and you can teach someone your preferences. They just need to understand, the micro decisions, why you would choose option number 1 over option number 2. And after you've been through that with them a couple of times, especially using this formula, they're going to be able to do it. It can be taught. A lot of our processes can be taught when we challenge ourselves. It does need to be bite-sized. You need to break it down into small steps. First I do this part, then I do this part, then I do this part. And the way that it works is I show you, I show my virtual assistant, and then my virtual assistant shows me. Step 2 is they show me. Okay, so I've showed them. I don't go too crazy with it. I keep it short and sweet so that they have a better opportunity to get it right. And I would tend to do this as an immediate real-time demo back. So I like to be online at the same time as the virtual assistant and get the virtual assistant to show me exactly the task that I've just demonstrated. And the reason that I like to do that is, first of all, do they have access to everything they need to do the task? Next thing, have they understood that task? Do they learn quickly? You're going to see this immediately. As soon as you go into this flow, you're going to start to really, not what you assumed to be true about this virtual assistant, what is actually true about this virtual assistant and how well they're going to perform your tasks. So, do they have access to everything they need to do it? Have they understood? Are they learning quickly from your instructions or are your instructions good? Because you will see that once you see the understanding back. What's the quality of their output? One of a couple of things is going to happen. They're going to do it to a standard you're pretty happy with. Let's say they do it 70-80% as well as you do. Minor mistakes, which you might just have to review, and hopefully they will be cleared up very quickly. And you're good. You're like, no, you can do this. It's the miraculous process of delegation is working. Or they do it better than you. Get ready. It's possible. We're not as good at everything as we think we are. We're very resourceful entrepreneurs. But does my VA team outperform me on specific tasks? Oh, you bet. They don't outperform me as the leader of the business. I'm in my element there. They support me. But do they output me on specific tasks? Do I look at the output from some of my VAs and think, that's better than I could have done? Sometimes, not too often. I'm not too bad. Is it nearly as good? Yes, and it's just a couple of tweaks and we're good to go. And then we have the other scenario, which is not a great scenario. It's terrible. They don't understand. The output is poor. They don't seem to be learning and improving. They can't do the tasks. You're not happy with the standard. The good news in this situation is you have identified that fast. You need to identify that on day 1, day 2 of working with somebody. If they can't, this is end goal is for them to take those tasks away from you. If you spot that they can't do those tasks, we need to move on from that. They're not the right person. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. It's higher slow, and if they can't do it, let them go. That's what it is. That's what I do. That's what everyone should be doing, because, if they're struggling, maybe it's not the right thing for them. They can't do it. And it's certainly not the right thing for you as a business owner. So please do bear that in mind. It's identifying that fast. Don't spend 3 weeks training them on everything about your business and then sit down with them and realize they can't do the basic tasks. You want to be doing that pretty much on day 1. And again, that's something I'll talk about a bit more in future videos. The final step to these 3 steps instructions. So step 1, I show you. That's the entrepreneur showing the virtual assistant. Step 2, you show me, the virtual assistant showing the entrepreneur. Step 3, record everything. Please record everything. Please do it. Why? Because you don't want to repeat that training. It's going to be exhausting for you to be online, over and over again, teaching the same thing. That's not where we want to get to. Record it. Once you've recorded it, they can reference that recording later. Instead of them having to reach back out to you and say, I'm really sorry, I forgot step 3. Can you show me again? That won't happen, hopefully, if you've got the recording. Shouldn't happen. They can just watch that recording again. Oh yes, that's right, that's how we do step 3, I remember now. And they can keep using that recording to help them with one task. Maybe it's not that complicated, but remember, the goal is not one task delegated, it's 10, 20, 30, 100, 500 tasks delegated. That's the end goal. Maybe not to one person. Maybe this is where we move towards a team of people. We become a real structured organization. But each task recorded with good instructions helps to be more resilient, to get towards that future result. And let's talk worst case scenario for a second as well. Worst case scenario meaning that virtual assistant does not work out and you spent 10 or 20 or 30 hours of your time, valuable hours, training them. If everything is recorded, you don't need to do that again. You get in a new BA, a replacement. It shouldn't get that far for reasons that I've just described, but you get in a replacement and you've got the recordings. The VA can go through those recordings, and then it's just that additional exercise of them demonstrating that they know how to do the tasks back to you. And you must quality control and check their understanding. That's really, really important. And then slightly more positive scenario is that first VA becomes full. They're working 8 hours a day. They're working full time. They work, let's say 30, 40 hours a week. And there's still lots of work to be done. Maybe they start to upskill and take on like bigger things within your business. And you need a second VA. And if they're struggling to find the time to train that VA, or if they just want the support of the extra resources, they can use those recordings as well to train up that VA. So those recordings kind of become a training manual, and it's more fun to interact with someone online in real time, and you build a relationship with them, and you test your own ability to give good instructions, and you test real time their ability to do it, and the tasks are being done. Maybe you have to slow down, just take a breath and slow down and teach them a bit slower than you would have done it yourself. So try not to be impatient and do I'll just do it, because that does not take you towards this place we want to get to of, well, slow down, teach them, and then they do it for you once, twice, 10 times, 1,000 times, and you don't have to do it again, and you can move forward. That's where we want to get to. So that's all part of the power of this, really. And as this starts to work and you feel more and more confident that you can step away and that task is being done well without you, probably your first reaction is fear, and your inner control freak is going to start to scream about letting things go. But once it's being done well, because that's a lot of the real fear, it's going to be done badly. So you need it to be done well. And that's the whole purpose of these 3-step instructions. Make sure it's done well. Once it's done well and you've let it go, as someone who has delegated a lot, over the past 8 years or so, you do not want it back. And you just start to feel the relief and the gratitude that you don't have to do it anymore. And there's a really good chance that virtual assistant actually enjoys it more than you did. And you can finally, start to get that time back and do other things in the business, something that you may well have been wanting to do for a while. And I know with some of our clients who call us with VAs, they don't really, it is proactive, but also there can be an underlying desperation because that person maybe has started to understand, as I did, that if they don't change, if they don't delegate, if they don't get some help, if they don't find a way to do more in one day and have the extra hours that don't exist unless someone else takes it off you, they're going to crash and burn. Burnout is terrifying for entrepreneurs. And so, this is what this is really about, like the crux of it often. Sorry, that was a little serious, but I have to say it when it feels right for me. So let's just go back to the training manual. You have all these videos that become a training manual for your company, for your brand, for your processes. If you want a written manual, ask the VA to write up the instructions from the video. Please don't do it yourself. Writing up manuals is, well, some people might enjoy it. I don't. It's usually not the best time, the best use of time for someone who owns a business. So ask that VA to write up the manual for you, okay? And then you can check it, make sure that they've understood the processes. It's a great way to check that. And it would have saved you the time from having to do it if you need it. I'm quite happy working off videos for the most part. I enjoy it, but I know some people are very, very set that they want a written manual. And if you want, for example, to give your VA more hours and you're struggling to free up your own time to do it, that's a great way for them to have a few extra hours to write those manuals from you just having spent the time with them, teaching them the processes, testing their understanding, the quality of their output, and improving your relationship with them. So that's everything that I wanted to say for now about giving great instructions. I hope that was useful. I hope you liked it. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about starting small with a virtual assistant. So should you start part-time? How would that work? How many hours would that be? Etc. Our recommendations around that. So that's what I'm going to cover off tomorrow. And please don't forget, there's going to be links with this video. If you are looking for a virtual assistant, a generalist, a specialist, or someone to help you with editing, we have an in-house editing team that can support podcasts or content creators with videos and audio content. Please give us a call to talk to us about that. And we'll also put a link so you can grab our mini essential delegation guide, which is 50 tasks you can delegate to a virtual assistant. All right, that's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.